Great morning, holy brothers and sisters! For the 17th of ADAR in the Kitzur Likutei Moharan, today's lesson will be called Defaming Delusions. A person must also guard his eye from the influence of the power of imagination. Even someone who has a good eye still needs to guard himself from this, just as we observe empirically that even a person who has excellent vision can be mistaken about what he sees from afar, so that what he imagines is the opposite of truth. So too is it with the mind's eye in a number of different respects. For example, sometimes a person imagines that another person is straying far from the truth, or that is acting improperly toward him. Because of this, the person harbors resentment against that other person, and conflict may then flare up. As our sages of blessed memory taught, Korach was intelligent. What led him to such foolishness, inciting a rebellion against Moses? His eye deceived him. Rashi on Numbers 16:7. The person then imagines that he's opposing or antagonizing the other person for the sake of heaven, when in fact it all stems from an error generated by the power of his imagination, which is causing him to entertain false and unfounded beliefs about the other person. Similarly, there are many different ways in which the mind's eye strays from truth due to errors caused by the power of the imagination, since the imagination can even delude a person who has a good eye. Therefore, a person must exercise an extreme measure of caution and guard himself with the utmost vigilance against errors induced by his imagination. Don't drum up delusions of deviation, diligently doubt diversions of defamation. A person is protected against the power of the imagination when he guards himself vigilantly from both speaking and believing slander about another person. For speaking and believing slander strengthens the power of the imagination, and it mars the memory, which is dependent on the rectification of the eyes. The power of the imagination is an animal faculty, since animals too possess this capacity, and when the imagination is strong in a person, his understanding and awareness leaves him. Then he falls from his love of God into bestial loves, which are the physical cravings generated by the power of the imagination. This faculty is generally strengthened by speaking and believing slander. Stay away and steer clear of speaking slander, for it sullies the soul. Through an evil eye, and similarly through speaking and believing slander, a person does not leave a son after him. The power of the imagination seeks to dwell in particular with those scholars who render decisions in Torah law. Therefore, when these scholars develop original Torah insights, they are usually pleasant and appealing ideas, since using the power of the imagination, they draw parallels, make analogies, and so forth. But these original Torah insights are damaging to earning a livelihood. The reason is that just as true original Torah insights are responsible for bringing all influx of bounty and blessing into the world, so do the insubstantial Torah insights emanating from the power of the imagination bring famine into the world, God forbid. Depression, which is downcast, evil spirit, strengthens and intensifies the power of the imagination, and as a result, a person is overwhelmed by forgetfulness. Therefore, it is necessary to be happy, since this is the main way to subdue the power of the imagination, and in this way, a person merits to remember the world to come. Happiness helps hopefulness and heals through holiness. As always, thank you so much for learning together. If you enjoyed this lesson, please remember to like, comment, share, and borrow, and please God, we'll learn again tomorrow.